Hi, hello, hello. So many of you probably just saw me hop on and then hop off. That's because Facebook decided to freeze me up. So you gotta love technology, right? Gotta love it. But here I am, ready to go, ready to get started. Today we're going to talk about visibility, but I'm going to give you all some time to find me again, to hop back in and find me. So when you're here, say hello. Let me know that you're here. And then, unfortunately, I couldn't do this live from my business page because Facebook had all the technology issues. So I'm going to go ahead and share this separately on my Facebook business page. But today, as part of my week-long birthday celebration, I'm giving free education and free value and free content and prizes, and there are contests, and we're doing all of that all week long. And so every day for this week, I'm going to do a Facebook Live talking about an area that you have all asked that I talk about. And I posted something in this group, in the Women's Business Garden the other day, about challenges and struggles that you're having in your business. And you guys answered where your most problematic area was right now when it came to your business. And sales was the top. So don't worry, that's not going to be neglected. Sales was one of the top areas, but really closely following behind sales was visibility, and the concept of being visible and the concept of being seen and being heard and being known, and specifically a hesitancy around being seen, being heard, and being known. So hopefully this video today is going to resonate with a lot of you and help you get more visible in your business, because I understand that it's scary. It can be really scary to be visible in your business. For example, right now, Facebook is showing me that no one is watching this right now. Now, one person just logged on, so I don't know who logged on. If that's you, say hello. And see, and then that person logged out, right? They got scared for being called out for watching the video. So I get it, that putting yourself out there and being visible in your business can feel really vulnerable. It can feel really scary. It can feel really intimidating. And so a lot of business owners, they're not doing it. They're not being visible in their business. So there's a fear, right, around judgment. There's a fear that people are going to judge what you say, how you look, what your videos look like, that they're going to critique you, right? So it's a very vulnerable place to be visible in your business. There's a fear around sounding like an imposter, right? We all have heard about the imposter syndrome. In fact, I did a video about that not too long ago, about imposter syndrome and kind of sounding like we don't know what we're talking about. So that goes along with a fear of knowledge, like we're going to say the wrong thing, or we're going to get something wrong, right? So there's that fear of kind of being wrong, or not knowing enough, or not knowing the right things. So fear around knowledge. There's definitely a fear around perfectionism, and a fear around looking professional, and a fear around a lot of it, right? In terms of it having to be perfect. That if I go visible, and I'm not just talking about video, I mean, I use that as an example to start, but there's a lot of fear around, like, okay, I am going to be visible in a post, or be visible when I get up to speak, or be visible at a vendor table, or be visible in a Facebook Live video. Wherever you're getting visible, there's a lot of fear around it needing to be perfect, and everything having to kind of be figured out and be right before you start. There's also a real legitimate fear around trolls and internet trolls, right? So a lot of people are hesitant to get visible because what if they get negative comments? Like, what if somebody logged on to my video right now and said, well, this is stupid, Rita, right? Like, you don't even know what you're talking about, and just railed into me, right? So some people stop themselves from getting visible because they don't want to deal with, I guess people call them haters, people call them trolls, right? That's all kind of negative energy around that. But you just don't want to deal with that level of response. So The response to all of that fear, the response to the fear of judgment and the fear of imposter syndrome and, you know, of it not being perfect and being critiqued, you know, in a hateful, mean way by these trolls. And another fear is the fear of being annoying. Nobody wants to hear what I have to say. Nobody finds what I'm saying interesting. Everybody's super annoyed with this, right? So there's a lot of fear around that as well. Nobody, you know, if I keep getting visible, if I'm visible more than once a week, or if I'm visible, you know, more than once a month, that's just, I'm being way too annoying, right? I don't want people to be annoyed by me. And so those fears stop people from being visible in their business, from showing up for people. And that does a big disservice to a lot of people, not just you and your business. I mean, it does a disservice to everybody who's out there. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. Because truthfully, people can't buy what they can't see. People tend to buy what's in front of them, right? So you need to stay in front of people. So visibility becomes very important, especially when there are so many people who are kind of doing the same things, right? There are a lot of people who are business coaches. There are a lot of people who are social media coaches. There are a lot of people selling makeup. There's a lot of people who design kitchens. There are a lot of people doing the same thing. Now, they're not the same because ultimately, at the end of the day, people aren't buying a product or a service. They're buying you because they could buy that thing from anywhere, right? They could buy that thing from anywhere. I see Julie hopped in, and Leah hopped in, and Debbie Jo hopped in. Hello, hello, hello. Say hi when you hop in, please. But people could buy something technically from anywhere. So why do they buy it from you? Because they're buying something about you. But people can't buy you if they're not getting to see you, if they don't know who you are, if they don't know what your message is about, right? You're not giving people that opportunity. So people buy what they know about, and people buy what's in front of them because, you know, instant gratification is real. Attention deficit disorder is real. People's impatience is real. And so when they want something, they tend to want it then. And if you're not the one in front of them talking about it or showing it to them, they're going to get it from somewhere else, right? And also the kind of the third part is that what separates a business from a hobby is profit. You have to make a profit. And that's why I'm talking about visibility in terms of people buying you and buying products and services from you, because ultimately, if you're running a business, that's why you're getting visible. I think Tracy just hopped on. Hi, Tracy. Hello. That's why visibility is important. So now we've talked about all the fears that are keeping business owners from being visible in their business, in front of their audiences and their communities. And we've talked about why it's important, why visibility is important. I think one of the issues, though, and what I want to stress before hopping too far into this, is that a big issue can come up when you approach visibility from a place of it only being about sales. So I did just kind of say, you know, the reason you're getting visible ultimately is because you want to run a business. And what makes a business different is a profit. And profits come from sales, right? So yes, but there are a lot of steps between getting seen and getting the sale. And visibility helps foster that. Hi, Karen. Hi, hello. So visibility fosters that. So now we know all the problems, why people aren't getting visible. We know why visibility is important. And we know that one of the major issues around visibility comes when you're approaching being visible from a place of just getting a sale. Okay, so we have to kind of expand our mindset around that. So when you hop on, I would love to know, is visibility something you feel really confident about? Are you doing a lot to be visible in your business? Do you feel like you're not doing enough? Whether you're watching live now or you're watching on the replay, I would love for you to type into the comments and say, you know, how you're feeling about how you're showing up. And again, that doesn't have to be on video, right? It can be in any way, through your email list, through social media, through networking, through public speaking, through videos. How are you being visible? Do you feel good about the level of visibility that you are putting into your business? Hi, Rashika. Hello, hello. So I would love to hear that. So if you can type into the comments, how are you feeling about how visible you are being in your business? Do you feel like it's sufficient? Do you feel confident about it? Do you feel like you need to do more? Just let me know how you're feeling, right? So, all right, so now we know all the fears that we have around getting visible. We know why visibility is important. We know one of the major mistakes that people make when they approach visibility is to think about it in terms of simply getting a sale. Okay, so Rajika says, I don't feel good about visibility in my business, right? So Rajika, is that because you're just not being visible? Or do you answer that question for me? Like, why is it that you're not feeling good about the level of visibility that you have? Is it, hi Deborah, hi, hello. Is it because you're not being visible? Or is it that you feel like you're not getting the return on visibility? So if you could flesh that out for me, that would be great. Okay, but so the mistake happens when people approach visibility from that mindset of I have to get a sale. And that's because visibility is about so much more, right? Being visible is about building a relationship. It's about serving people. It's about being of service. It's about providing value. It's about building trust. It's about building credibility. It's about creating an impact, right? Impacting people and impacting their lives and spreading your message and, you know, your mission, because we all go into business for a reason that's greater than just us. There's a reason we quit corporate America and risk everything to like do this, right? There's some reason, there's a bigger reason why. And so you have to share your message. Visibility is important because you have to share your message. As a business owner, there's no way to have a business if you're not. We've already said people can buy things from anybody. They're buying it from you, so they need to know you. So they need to know your message. They need to know what you're about. They need to, I mean, we hear this cliche phrase, but it's really not cliche. Know, like, trust. They do. Right now, do people buy from people that they don't know, like, and trust? Sometimes, right? I mean, certain products, like, I don't know about some of the products. I go into Target and buy, but I trust Target, right, to carry a product. So there's always like a level of know, like, and trust that really is involved in this. But people have to know what your message is, right? So it's about sharing your message for all of those reasons that are a lot deeper and that are about more than sales, but with the ultimate goal, right, of getting clients and getting customers and not being ashamed of that and not feeling like that's a bad thing. Do you think that Target feels bad, right, when they're visible and they market to get people in the store? Do you think they're like, oh man, you know, if we just put that commercial out there and people see it, right, then they're going to know that we're selling something. They're going to know that we're a business and that we're so maybe we just shouldn't. We should, right? It sounds ridiculous when you start putting it out in terms of these big brands, right? But we're no different. And it's really important that you see that. So hi to everybody hopping in. Again, when you see this on the replay or if you're watching live, I would love to know how you feel about how you're showing up in your business and the level of visibility that you have. And if you think it's good, do you think there needs to be more? Why aren't you doing it if you're not doing it? What do you love about visibility? What has it done for you? What do you want it to do for you, right? Share with me your thoughts around visibility. But so you have to be seen, you have to be heard, and you have to be known as a business owner. There's just no way you can build a successful business if people don't know about you and if people don't know you exist, right? But how do you do that? How do you do that when you have all the fear that we talked about at the beginning, when you have fear around criticism, when you have fear around, you know, negative comments, when you have fear around being an imposter, when you have fear around being annoying, when you have fear around it having to be perfect, how do you move forward with it, right? How do you do that? Let's see. So the comments online I see are kind of freezing up, but luckily I've got my phone going on. So Rajika says, you're not being visible and you're not getting a return, right? And you struggle with showing clients the value in what you have. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that today. And so you kind of like took me to the first part of this, right? And so when you're coming at how do I do it? How do I get visible? How do I get seen and heard, known, and all of that sounds great. But when you're feeling a lot of fear, I don't think there should be any surprise that Rita's going to start you all off with talking about mindset, right? And that mindset is everything, guys. You cannot get the results that you want if your mindset is not in alignment with it. What is true is what you believe. If you believe that you're annoying, then that will be true. If you believe that nobody wants to hear what you say, then that will be true. If you believe that you sound like an imposter, then it's true, right? You create the truth through your belief. So you have to make sure that your thoughts are in alignment with the results that you want. If your thoughts are not in alignment with the results that you want, you will not get those results from being visible. So that's the first place to start. So your stories, these stories, which all these fears are stories. No one's going to hear what I want to say, right? We just know that that's not true, right? There are people who want to hear what you have to say. Even if it's just one person, right? There's somebody that wants to hear what you have to say. But we have to like rewrite our stories. So you have to say, what are my stories around visibility? What are my fears? Right? What is it that I really think? Do I think, well, I can't go live, I can't be visible. Let's talk about video. I can't be visible because I don't have lighting, I don't have the right stand, I don't have a great camera, I don't have all of the right equipment, right? Because that's one area under the perfectionism area where people are like, I can't be visible because I don't have the right things. So if that's you, if you're watching and you feel like you need certain equipment and you need certain things in order to be more visible, type that in. Like, tell me that that's you in the comments below. And that's kind of why I showed up like this today, right? I mean, I didn't really fix my hair, guys. I have a little bit of makeup on. You can see, right, in the background, we've got our couch covered in like a patchwork quilt because of dogs and shedding. I'm in my kitchen, right? I have a fluorescent overhead light. I'm in a t-shirt, right? Like, if you wait for all of the right equipment and the things to be perfect, you're not going to be visible, right? But here's the thing, and even your script. Because if you guys hear me, I have like some notes. I don't really have a script. I keep saying right all the time. I keep saying, you know what I mean? I keep saying this stuff, right? So the script isn't, and I'm rambling. And Rajika, you just had a fear that you're rambling on. I'm rambling, right? But you're all here because you want to hear what I have to say. You don't really care about my lighting. You don't care about what I'm wearing. You don't care about how my hair looks, right? None of you are here watching this because you care about that. You want the content and you want the information, right? So when you start recognizing these things, you're able to change your mindset around visibility. So you have to have a new perspective on it. If you say nobody wants to hear what I say, you have to change your perspective and say, people want to hear what I have to say. I just have to get in front of the right people. Right? People want to hear it. I just have to get, or if you think everything needs to be perfect because people are going to judge my lighting and my clothes and my script, right? Or people are going to judge if you're getting visible not from video, you're getting visible by public speaking, or you're getting visible by a vendor table, or you're getting visible by a post that you're putting on Facebook or a newsletter that you're sending, right? You have to change the perspective with people aren't analyzing that and picking that apart. The people who are consuming it are people who want what I'm saying. So you have to have these new mindsets, right? And that's something that I can't go into in an hour-long Facebook Live, right? I just can't help you all rewrite your mindset. But I mean, That's why I coach people. That's why I created the Take Bold Action program. I think people who are in Take Bold Action will tell you I hammer home mindset, you know, over and over in everything that we do. But I wanted to lead with that here because it's more important than ever when it comes to visibility that you have a new perspective on a few things. So I even wrote down, I'm looking here at some notes, right, that I wrote down. So the perfectionism thing we talked about, a new perspective on that. Or negative comments. People are like, I don't want to get trolled. I don't want to have negative comments. I don't want people to say bad things about me, right? And I would stop right there and kind of ask why. Why does that matter to you? And a good number of times it matters because there is some realness or reality of what that comment would be to you. I'm not saying that it's a true comment. I'm saying that if one of your fears, let's say when it comes to trolls, is that someone's going to say, Rita, this is boring. You just don't know what you're talking about, right? If that's in my mind, if that's why I'm afraid and not being visible and I'm not putting out content because I think, oh, it's so boring and nobody's going to want to read it, then somewhere inside, I believe that I'm boring, right? I believe that I'm not putting out valuable content. I believe somewhere that I'm not solving a problem and that I'm not helping people do something. So I have to address that inside of me first. So if the negative comments are something that keep you from wanting to take action, then you need to ask yourself, am I really scared of the negative comment, or am I scared that there's some validity to the comment? And if you're worried that there's validity to the comment, I'm not saying that it's true. I'm saying that you need to work on your mindset to overcome it. You need to connect with your value. You need to connect with the value that you're putting out to people. So it all starts there. It all starts with that belief. It all starts with mindset, right? So you have to ask yourself, how can I increase my own connection with the value that I give to people every time that I get visible? That's something that you have to answer, right? Also with annoying, right? So this is another fear. How many of you, I see a couple of people are watching, how many of you feel like if you get visible too much, you're just gonna be annoying? That people are gonna be really annoyed if you do a Facebook Live and you post and you send out a newsletter and you public speak somewhere and you run a workshop and you run a webinar and then you do another Facebook Live and then you post in another group and then on your business page. Like, do you all feel like you're hesitant or you're holding back because somewhere you feel like, gosh, that's just too much, right? That's too annoying. Who feels like that? Like, go ahead and say that in the comments. Yes or no. Do you feel like if you're visible too much, that people being annoyed is a reality to that situation? Hi, Deborah. Hi, I see that you're in. How many of you? Anybody? And if you're watching on replay, say yes or no to that, right? I don't know if comments froze. They froze earlier. So I'm just going to keep going and assume you all are terrified of that, right? But some of you have seen me post this thing before where I'm like, look, right? Imagine that you have a solution to somebody's problem. Okay, so someone has a problem. Maybe the problem is getting visible. You all want to know how to get visible, right? And I have that solution. I can help you get more visibility in your business, right? Now, let's say that I post about that once on Facebook, but you're not on Facebook at that time. And in fact, when you log on to Facebook, it's down at the bottom of your feed. You never see it, right? So lucky for you, I sent an email about it, right? I sent out my newsletter and I sent an email about it, that I was going to do this training, and you caught the email and you filed it away because you wanted to put it in your calendar, but then you got busy, your kids pulled you away, something pulled you away, and you got distracted and you forgot to put it in your calendar, right? But then I tweeted about it and the tweet reminded you that email was there, and you're like, yes, that's it, I'm gonna go put it in my calendar. So you put it in your calendar. But now we're getting closer to the time, right? We're getting closer to the time that it's supposed to happen, that the training's supposed to happen. And of course, life has popped up again and you're not near your phone, right? And it's not happening. And so you're forgetting that you have to do it, right? But bam, you get like a text alert. Maybe you're on my text list and you get a text, I'm going live in 5 minutes. Don't forget to join me, right? And you're like, oh, thank goodness Rita did that, because I was totally gonna forget and I really wanted to be here, right? Or maybe you missed that. maybe you do get distracted and you get so busy you miss it. So I send a replay and I send a link to the replay, right? You see my mother-in-law back there walking back and forth, right? Like that's how you don't have to worry about being perfect when you do these things, right? But maybe, you know, I send the replay and you're like, oh, good, I'm so glad Rita sent that replay, right? Because I totally forgot about her live and her training and I really wanted to know this, right? So do you guys see that, like, when we think you thought 2 Facebook posts, a tweet, a newsletter, a follow-up, a reminder, and a text were too annoying. But the people who really want that information are gonna be grateful for the fact that you're giving them multiple opportunities to find out about it. Do you guys understand that? So Karen says, I feel like if I post a lot of content, it creates a lot of responsibility to keep it up. So Karen, that's a really good comment. We're gonna talk about that as well. So I'm not talking about like the depth or the level of the content, how long it is or how much or anything like that right now. I'm just talking about the fact that, like, you need to be visible in multiple ways across multiple points for multiple reasons for people to even have a chance to see it. And that's not just online. That is also offline. Right? If you have a vendor table and you're like, well, I did 1 vendor table in 6 months, right? And I just didn't get what I needed from it. Well, you're in a small segment of population that happened to go to that event, that happened to then go to the vendor table area, that then happened to go by your vendor table, that then happened to also be a target market person for you or an ideal client, that then also happened to catch you when they were able to engage with you, right? So you see how it kind of dwindles and dwindles. So you need to be multiple places in multiple ways. So that's like the new perspective around the fear of it being annoying, right? Also, I really want you guys to start looking at being visible, not as getting the sale directly. It is ultimately, again, about getting the client or customer, right? We're a business. Like, there's nothing wrong with wanting to make a sale. There's actually, if you're running a business and you're like, oh, I don't really want to get a sale, that's icky, right? Then we need to really work on that mindset, right? Because you're a business, right? Businesses do not mind about making sales. You have to make sales to be a business. So, but what I do want you to think about is that you're coming at sales from a place of service. You're coming at sales from giving value. Education-based marketing is one of the best ways to be visible. That's why public speaking is so important. That's why vendor tables can be important. That's why Facebook Lives can be important. That's why social media posts can be important, right? When you're educating and you're giving value, and the way you do that, we're going to talk about in a minute, but like when you're doing that, right, you are giving a service. You are lifting other people through providing them with something they need. They have a challenge. They have a problem. You have a solution. There's a story about a doctor. I love this story, right? But pretend you had strep throat and you can't swallow and you feel terrible and you go into the doctor's office and you sit on the exam table and the doctor's like, say, you know, let me look. And he looks and he's like, yeah, you know, yep, I know exactly what that is and there's a solution for it. There is a solution. And he turns around and walks away, right? Like you would be like, wait a minute, can I get it from you? Can I buy it from you? Like I'm sitting here with a problem and you have a solution. Are you gonna tell me how I can buy that solution from you, right? So that's kind of what you're doing when you're not being visible, right? Or when you're being visible with the wrong mindset. You're coming at it thinking I'm salesy, right? That's a word I really don't like, but like I'm salesy and that's icky, right? So the new perspective on that is no, I am the doctor telling somebody with a problem that there's a solution to it. I'm just letting them know, right? What you're not doing is making them and forcing them to buy it. You're not like holding a gun to their head, right? And making the decision for them or forcing them into a decision. In fact, you're kind of doing the opposite. You are empowering people to be able to make a decision for themselves. So if I decide, you know what I have to say today about getting visible, nobody cares about it. Hi, Jen, I see you logged in. Nobody cares about it. Nobody wants to talk about it. It's boring. Nobody cares, right? And I make that decision for you. So I don't come here, right, to do it. then I have effectively disempowered you because I made a decision for you. Instead, people have the right to not be here. When I started this video, nobody was on. I'm down to 2 people. We were up to like 10. People hop in, people hop out. Maybe people are gonna watch on the replay. But what I'm not doing is making the decision for you. I'm providing the opportunity for you to engage in my content and to see me and to know what I'm about. And then you can choose whether you want to consume it or not, right? So stop making the decision for people. Instead, flip your perspective. We're talking about flipping the mindset right now to say, no, like I'm that doctor that's offering a solution to a problem. It's my obligation. It's my responsibility to let people know that there is a solution to this problem and that I have it and that they can get it from me. And just sharing it is not forcing them into it. In fact, it's providing a service. And if you add that level of visibility to coming at it from a place of education and educational-based marketing, which we're going to talk about a little bit, right? Then you're really adding value. And in fact, there's a book, Gary Vee. My client, Anna Gibson, loves Gary Vee. And there's a book I think he wrote, like Punch, Punch, Punch something. Jab, jab, jab. Anna, if you're watching this, let me know. Jab, 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 something, something, right? And the idea of that is basically the same thing as what Judy Robinette wrote in her book, How to Be a Power Connector. And it's give 2 favors before you ever ask for one. Give 3 things of value before you ask for a sale, right? If you're always coming at being visible from a place of getting the sale, then you're always going to be frustrated by it because you're missing the key components of visibility, which is relationship building, building trust, building authority, building credibility along different points of the buyer cycle, which we're going to talk about, and being and engaging and offering value and leading from a place of service, which then leads to sales. Okay? Does everybody understand that? Like that the mindset thing is really important for you to deal with before we even get into how do I get seen, heard, known, right? Which is why I just spent like 30 minutes on it, is that the mindset piece is crucial for everything. So when you are identifying the fears, and you're identifying a fear of failure and a fear of rejection, right? These are the fears that keep us from doing things like this or putting a post out or putting a newsletter out or something like that. We're like, oh, what if people reject it? What if it doesn't work? What if I don't get the results I want, right? The fear of failure, rejection, and other people's opinions. Here's the interesting little thing about us. The higher our self-esteem, the lower the fear of failure, rejection, and other people's opinions. The lower our self-esteem, the higher the fear of failure, rejection, and other people's opinions. So, right? Oh, hi, Diana. Hi, I didn't see you hop in. Hello, so true, right? So we need our self-esteem to be high. Right? We need our self-esteem to be high. So it's not that you don't feel the fears of being visible. It's that you don't let it stop you, right? So we need our self-esteem to be high. So how do you do that? You make decisions in alignment with your values. You make decisions in alignment with your ideal version of yourself. So if the ideal version of yourself is out there telling people about what you do and sharing your story and sharing your message and impacting lives, right? If the ideal you and your core values are about serving people and educating people and impacting people, and you don't do that, and you make decisions to not be visible and to not do that, you are making decisions out of alignment with your ideal self, and you're making decisions out of alignment, right, with your core values. And guess what that does? It tanks self-esteem, guys. So when self-esteem is low, what did we just say was high? Fears of all of that stuff, failure, rejection, other people's opinions. So you have to make sure so that you're making choices, right, which means you have to do it. If being visible, right, this is kind of like the immersion therapy. Well, Esther, if you're watching this, right, Esther Boykin, who's a very active member of the Women's Business Guard, is a therapist I do stuff with. So if I got that wrong, I'm not giving therapy. I'm not giving therapeutic advice, right? But here's the thing, is that if you're making decisions out of alignment with it, then by the simple act of not being visible, you're creating more fear of being visible. The only thing then that can conquer that fear is to do it. There's a book by Susan Jeffers called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. Right? Feel the fear and do it anyway. And there's a reason for that, right? If you want to stop being afraid of all of these things we talked about, right, in addition to aligning your mindset with the results you want, then action is the next thing to take. By doing it, you become less fearful of it. Not just because you're realizing that it's not the end of the world when you get on a video without your hair done and a t-shirt on and your house kind of a mess and no professional lighting, right? You're realizing the world does not crash down. And in fact, there are people in here engaging on this video, right? So part of it is that through new results, you overcome fears. But the other part is by making decisions in alignment with who you want to be. Simply taking that action lowers the fears. So you almost can't afford not to be visible in your business, because the more you do it, then the better you're going to feel about it. So you have to just start. Okay? So that's like all the mindset stuff around visibility. We've talked for people who are just logging on. So I see Diana logged on. I see, I can't tell the other name of whoever logged on, but hello person. Say hi, please, in the comments. So we talked about, just for you guys who hopped on, we talked about why people are so scared of visibility, why visibility is so important. We talked about how visibility, what it's really about, right? What visibility is really about, so that you can understand how important it is. And then we talked about mindset. Why is it that these things hold us up from being visible? How can we change our perspective on a few of the key areas? And then that moved into fears. Where do the fears come from? And the importance of taking action. That simply by taking action to be more visible, you will have less fear of being visible, right? So now we know all of that. You don't need fancy equipment, and people are hi, Danny. Hi, Catlin. Hi. So Catlin and Danny are here. Hello, Danny. The one of the 5 guys I've led into the Women's Business Garden Girls. Danny's awesome. He's great. Get to know him. Not that you all aren't, but like some people are like, that's a dude. Yeah, I let 5 guys, like not 5 different guys, right? Not the hamburger chain. I let 5 guys into the group. So now we know mindset's key, right? Change your perspective. Have these new thoughts, and it will step you into wanting and being excited to be visible, because now you're looking at it differently. And when you have a new perspective on something, the whole experience changes, which is why I start with mindset, right? So you have to start there. But then, okay, so let's talk about the actual being seen, being heard, and being known for the second half of this video, right? The actual technical components of it. How do you do that? Most people start with being seen. They're just like, I just need people to see me. So I'm gonna just do a Facebook Live, and I'm gonna do a post, and I'm gonna do a tweet, and then I'm gonna be on Instagram, and then I'm gonna go public speak here, and I'm gonna be on the news, and I wanna be quoted in this article, right? So we start with being seen. That's not where I want you to start. Like most things that I coach on, I actually want you to start with the end in mind. So I want you guys to answer for me this question. And some of my clients are on, so I know that they're going to have an answer. I hope they have an answer. What do you want to be known for? Let's start with the final thing. Not be seen, not be heard. Let's start with being known. What do you want to be known for? Okay? That's why you want to be heard. That's why you want to be seen. So we have to start there. And again, reverse engineer everything. So type in the comments to me, what would you like to be known for? I want to be known for relationships, right? And there are a lot of things that fall under that. But, you know, I started as a dating coach, so even dating, right? But I want to be known as for mentoring and for community, building community. Those are relationships. And networking. Networking is about relationships. And I believe the foundation of business is built on relationships. So I want to be known for relationships. I also want to be known for action. Getting people to take action. You have what you need, you know, for the most part inside of you to do it. And action creates motivation, and action conquers fear, and action breeds clarity, and action brings success, and action is the difference between, you know, delusion and faith, and action, action, action. So I want to be known for action. Those are 2 things I want to be known for, relationships and action. How about you guys? I would love to hear. I don't know if the comments froze up again or what, but even if you're watching it, like if I don't see it, just like if I'm not interacting with you, keep typing. I will see the comments when the video is over, and I'll be able to go through it. But tell me, what do you want to be known for? You have to start, when it comes to visibility, with the end in mind, right? Because what you get heard about and how you get seen and where you get seen, all roads need to lead to what you want to be known for. Because remember, right, visibility, again, is about more than getting the sale. It's about everything that happens between being visible and getting the sale, about the credibility, about the authority, right, about value, about serving. So Diana wants to be known. Diana says, I want to be known as a motivator, a leader in my area of expertise, and a cheerleader. That's great, but Diana, I know you. I'm going to push you on that, right? You actually want to be known for health and wellness, right? So like another thing I want to be known for is business strategy. So that's a third thing: relationships, action, and business strategy, right? Because I believe that you can't have a successful business without relationships. I believe you can't have a successful business without action. And I believe you need strategy in order to have a successful business, right? So Rajika says, an expert and a problem solver. That's who you want to be, but what do you want to be known for? An expert in what, Rajika? A problem solver around what? Diana, what do you want to be a motivator for? What do you want to be a leader of? What are you cheering on? Right? So yes, so Diana says health and wellness. And then specifically what? You can even dig a little deeper than that, right? Like, I want to be known for nutrition. I want to be known for exercise. I want to be known for, but health and wellness is kind of like the big broad category, like business strategy, right? Relationships is a broad category. So we're talking about that right now, just the broad categories. But if you're watching this video, I would love for you, when you know it, to type 2 to 3 things that you really want to be known for. Okay, so that's like the first part of the be seen, be heard, be known, is you have to know, what do I want to be known for? So then we reverse engineer a step back, right? And the step back is, I want to be heard, right? So the question that you have to answer in that category is, why do those things that you want to be known for matter to people? Why does business strategy for me matter to business owners? Why do relationships matter to business owners? Why does action matter to business owners, right? So when you guys identify the thing that you want to be known for, then you need to say, okay, well, why do these things matter to my audience, to my target market, to the people I want to help and the people I want to serve and the people out in the world? Why? Why does it matter? And when you answer that question, you start to identify what they want to hear and what matters to them. So I think it was Rajika who earlier said, I feel like I'm not resonating with my audience. I don't feel like I'm getting these results, right? So I'm sorry, I have to drink my tea. No, it's not yogi tea. I thought I was gonna have a little saying. Anyway, right, when you answer that question, you're going to then start pinpointing what they want to hear. So let me give you an example. As a dating coach, right, I could have been being heard talking all about fulfilling love, finding fulfilling love, finding your life partner, finding, the love that will last a lifetime, finding that healthy relationship, finding the support and the compatibility that you're searching for, right? The problem, and I did that when I first started, and the problem with that is that that was not what my audience was wanting to hear. That's what I wanted to talk about, right? That's what I wanted to be heard about, right? It was kind of like, okay, now ultimately what I wanted to be known for was finding the fulfilling relationship, right? I'm the person that can help you find that healthy, wonderful, fulfilling relationship. But I was almost also mistaking what I wanted to be known for what I wanted to be heard about, okay? And that was causing a disconnect with my audience because that's not where they were, okay? My audience had a pain point. They had very many pain points, these singles, right? And their pain point was more like, I need a second date. I can't get a second date. I have no idea how to online date. I don't even think dating's fun, so I don't even want to do it. I'm so frustrated with this. I don't even know where to go to meet people, right? That's what they were wanting to hear. Okay, they were wanting to hear the answers, and they wanted to hear that I was the solution to those problems. In fact, one person said to me once, Rita, finding fulfilling love is so far away. That's like 18 steps away from where I am. Sure, I ultimately want it and it sounds nice, but I'm not ready for that yet. Once I kind of take care of some of these things, then I'll be ready to start thinking about fulfilling love. Now, what I educated them on, what I told them when I was being heard, right, around these things that they wanted to hear, how to get a second date, how to online date, all of that stuff, right, was helping them ultimately to get the confidence and build the self-esteem and get rid of some bad habits and change their perspective around dating and who they were attracted to and why, and digging into some stuff, right? That was doing all of that so they could find fulfilling love. So you might have heard kind of in sales, you hear, you know, sell them what they want and give them what they need. But in visibility, it's very much the same thing. You want to be known for something, but you want to be heard talking about the things that that audience wants to hear. So you have to know what their pain points are. So to do that, you have to know who they are. You have to be very clear. Now, don't let getting so specific about a target market or so specific about an ideal client. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about thinking about it in the language of the people that are looking for solutions. In health and wellness, so Diana's in health and wellness, right? We see this all the time. Ultimately, what Diana Baltimore is doing is creating people with high levels of self-esteem so they can go out and achieve more in the world, right? But they can't see that. They can't see that, and they don't want to hear about that. What they want to hear about is, how do I lose 10 pounds? How do I feel better in my skin? How do I go out and date better? How do I have more energy to play with my kids? How do I, how do I do this thing, right? That's what they're wanting to hear about. That's the problem that they want solved. Now, when you help solve that problem, when you help speak to that thing, when they are hearing you about that, you will be known for the ultimate thing you want, because you're going to teach them and educate them and provide them and coach them and work with them and all of that, right, on all these things. Does that make sense, guys who are watching? Like, peanut gallery got quiet, right? But does that make sense? Like, you have to say, I want to be known for this, but that's not necessarily the same thing I want to be heard about, because ultimately what we want to be known for, our audience is not there yet and ready to talk about that and ready to hear that. We have to bring them to that place, right? By doing what we do, by our process and how we work with people, we bring them from here to there, right? So they're not ready for all of that. They don't want to hear all of that yet. They want to hear all of this, right? That's where they are. You have to speak to them where they are at, and you have to speak to them about what they want to hear about, okay? And here's the thing then, and this is my birthday gift to everybody today, okay? So I'm giving 2 birthday gifts today, and I'll put those here before I get to kind of the be seen part, right? Because we're talking about being heard. Birthday gift number 1, I did a infographic called the Buyer Cycle that touches different points along the customer journey and what your content, right? So however you're being visible, video, speaking, writing, online, offline, articles, podcasts, all of that, right? What at each different stage of the buyer cycle, your visibility should be doing, okay? So I've done an infographic around that, and I spoke on it. And I actually took the infographic down, and I took the video down a while ago, and I've been kind of selling that as like a $17 product. But today I'm making it available to everybody. Okay, so I'm going to post that in the group. That is yours. So when I'm talking about this buyer cycle, you guys will be able to go to it and see what I mean. Okay, so when you're thinking, what does my customer or my client, what do they want to hear? What are they wanting to listen to? Not what do I want to talk about, right? Or what do I want to be known for? But what do they need to hear? That idea of what's in front of them right now. That's what I need to be speaking to. Well, what's in front of them right now and what that content should be doing kind of changes based on the different stages of where they are as a potential customer. So there's a difference between when they first become aware of you right? And then there's a difference between when they're actually considering you, and then there's a difference when they're getting ready to purchase from you, and then there's a difference when they are actually consuming what they bought from you, and then there's a different, right? So you're gonna understand like this, the bigger picture, because I'm going to give you that video and I'm going to give you that infographic, okay? So that's birthday gift number 1 to celebrate my birthday. Birthday gift number 2 is the program Take Bold Action that is open for registration. And some people who are watching, they were in the last round, right? That program has been revamped and freshened up, and like there's a lot of exciting things happening in it. In fact, I've changed it based on the comments of the first round of people that went through to make it even more powerful than it was, and really about implementation and action. But that program, as my second birthday gift, right, not only through the end of the day can you use the code birthday and get 10% off the registration, but anyone who registers today will also get a private coaching call with me. And anyone who registers today can participate in a program called Wake Up and Win that I'm running in September for free as well. So that's my second gift, right? So the video and the infographic, that's going to everybody. And then the incentives, if Take Bold Action is something you really think you want to do, right? And in Take Bold Action, we dig in. We are going to dig in even more than we did around content planning, around not like actual writing content, the actual structure of content. How do you want to be seen? The part I'm about to get to, we dig into that, and we dig into visibility and speaking and vendor tables and all of that, right? So that's in that program. So that's why I brought it up. But okay, so now we've talked about all the mindset stuff and all the holdups and how to kind of address that and have a new perspective so that we can step into being seen, being heard, and being known. We've started with being known. What do we want to be known for? We reverse engineer that a step back to say, okay, we want to be known for this. So now, right, we want to be heard about this, which does not often match what we want to be known for. What we want to be heard about has to be what our customers and our clients, those prospective customers and clients in our audience, what do they want to hear? What matters to them, right? What matters to them, what's going on in their life. You have to speak to that, and you have to kind of reframe that and adjust it at different points in their evolution with you, which is what you're going to learn from the buyer cycle, right? So then the last part, be seen. How do you get seen? What are all the different ways that you guys can get seen? So tell me, right? Diana's like, that's a big birthday present. That is a big birthday present, Diana. I think so, right? So while you guys are typing, how are you guys getting seen? Where? Where are the places that you are getting seen right now? Online or offline? How are you when you are? You might not be doing it as much as you want to. You might not be doing it the way you want to, but where do you go when you want to get seen? Tell me in the comments. And because Diana brought it up, all right? So the Take Bold Action program, this is good for people who really want to learn about some key areas in their business, really want to identify what do they want to be known for, what is their messaging, what is kind of their brand, what content supports that, how do you then transition from providing content and value to getting sales, how do you convert a sale? We're going to talk all about sales. We talk about networking and strategy. We talk about who your audience is and what their challenges are and what is it that they are wanting to hear. We talk about mindset like crazy. We talk about money and revenue streams, and we come up with a plan, a map for your revenue and for your income. We are going to talk about payments and pricing and packaging and a lot of different stuff, right? So this is really good if you're like, I jumped into business and I kind of did it without rhyme and I did it without reason and I did it without strategy. And like, boy, would I love to just stop and be more effective and really hone in, but like do it, not just talk about it. Okay, not just talk about it. So a lot of the people who were in it are coming back because they loved it the first time, but I've revamped it to be even more implementable and even more action oriented and kind of weeded through, because there were a lot of topics that were covered, and I've weeded some out so we can focus on the ones that they really were passionate about and that people are really wanting to implement in their business now to solve a lot of these problems, right? So you can go to I'll put the link in the comments and you can go check it out. You can go see what the Take Bold Action program is all about. But just know if you register by tonight, it's normally a $497 program or 3 payments of $197. But if you register using that code birthday, all caps, I'll put it in the comments, tonight, it's 10% off. So it's going to be $477 or 3 payments of $177. And in addition, you're going to get to participate in September's Wake Up and Win, which is a $97 value. And you're going to get a coaching call with me, a half-hour coaching call with me privately, which is a $275 value. So you're going to get, you know, the $275 and the $497 program and the $97 Wake Up and Win. And if you do it by tonight, you're going to get that for just $477 or 3 payments of $177. So anyway, that's what Take Bold Action is, because I didn't really talk about that at the beginning, and that's why birthday present, because it ties into what we're talking about here, right? So now we know, like, you guys didn't type, I don't see it. Let me see. So Deborah says she's getting visible on Facebook posts, Facebook Live, LinkedIn posts, networking events, newsletter, blog posts, vendor tables. Great, I love it. Who else? Who else? And if you're watching on replay, go ahead and type it in. I'm going to be checking comments later, right? But yes, there are a variety of places that you can be seen, right? So I can't really speak to each of you individually about where you need to be seen, right? That's what the Take Bold Action program is for, because it's not a done for you program. I'm coaching, I'm live in there, right? Or have a call with me or message me or something. But right, where you can be seen, there are a variety of places. Podcasts, like Deborah said, Facebook posts, on your business page, in your group, in a different group, Facebook Lives, doing LinkedIn posts, going out to networking events. What I don't see there, Deborah Myers, who I think admits freely that she works with, with me, right? Deborah Myers and Diana Baltimore, who also said Facebook posts, vendor tables, and small groups. What I don't see is speaking in that list. And I know you guys speak, right? So speaking to groups, associations, organizations, meetup groups, doing your own webinars, your own workshops, your own teleseminars, Facebook Lives, right? All of that speaking, webinar, all of that, right? Speaking. We have podcasts, we have articles, we have blogs, right? You have all of that. You have written content. You have the educational kind of posts that you see on Facebook, on business pages, and in Facebook groups. So you have all of that, right? The idea is there are tons and tons of places where you can be seen, okay? Here is what I want you to take away from this, since really where you should show up and be seen depends on what do you want to be known for, what are you going to be talking about, who's your audience. This is where we're going to position you, right? So that's a little more strategic. But for all of you watching this, you can totally take this to the bank, right? It doesn't matter so much where you get visible. Here is what matters, is that you are consistent with it. So I think it was Karen, I don't know if you're still on, was talking about, well, if I start putting out all this content in all these places, then I feel like I'm going to have to keep up with it. And there is truth to that. Okay, there is truth to that. If you do a blog and you start off doing a weekly blog and then you fall off from doing a weekly blog, right? You go to once a month and then maybe you don't do it for a couple of months and then you come back. There is a level of trust in you that is kind of diminished. Same with the newsletter, same with like all of like doing Facebook Lives. And if you run a group and you're really active in your Facebook group and then you just stop, right? So what you start, whatever it is, the strategy that you pick for being seen, you need to be consistent with it. Okay, you got to be consistent with it. So what you don't have to do is be incredibly frequent with it. If doing a once a week thing is too much for you, or if doing every day is too much for you, or pick something that you can do a once a month newsletter, do a once a month blog, right? Start, you can always build up, but start at a level that you can be consistent. And it doesn't matter what that level really is. Now, obviously, the more visible you are, like we talked about, right? That more, like, I think people say this about me all the time. Rita, it's like you're everywhere. I turn around and you're speaking here and you're on Facebook Live and you're in the group. How do you have time for all of this? But I didn't start like that, right? I increased and built up my visibility, right? And so, and then also I had a larger audience, right? But I want you to know, it doesn't matter necessarily where you decide to get visible, right? But it matters that you're consistent with it. I also don't want you to overthink it, okay? So that the tendency when it comes to visibility is to overthink it. Like, I have to write this big, life-altering, earth-shattering, light bulb inducing like moment Facebook post that will change the lives of everybody who reads it. I know you don't. You just have to share a tip. Like you have to share a behind the scenes peek at your business. You need to just kind of tell a story, right? Talk about something funny that happens, like that's relevant, right, to what you do. But like, I don't always have to be educating you. I don't have to like write this big post about here are the 3 secrets to getting more visible in your business. My posts, my content, videos, all of that don't always have to be about that. It can literally be like, how do I get work done when my roof is caving in? Let me show you my setup, right? Or, you know, oh my gosh, I was working with a client. She said this funny thing, and I thought I would share it with you because I think all of you resonate with that. Who here agrees with that? Or speaking, right? It doesn't have to be, like I had a client the other day tell me, well, I'm not speaking because I keep applying for these big conferences. I keep applying for like Women Empowerment Expo and the Power Conference and some National Association industry conferences. And I keep applying for all of these things and they're not accepting me. So I'm not speaking, right? So I'm not getting seen. But it doesn't have to be that big thing, right? You can be speaking at a Rotary Club. In fact, you should. The more you speak at the other places like Rotary clubs and meetups and volunteer groups, then the more authority. Remember what all of this visibility is doing, not just getting sales, right? It's about so much more than that. It's about building authority and credibility and trust and relationships and creating room and space for opportunities. So when you're speaking at these places that might not be your ultimate ideal places to speak, you're on a path now to getting there, right? So I think often people overthink being visible. It has to be this really life-altering video. It has to be a life-altering post. I must write like a whole, I was going to say a thesaurus, a thesis, right? I've written a thesis and put that out in my newsletter. No, you don't, right? You need to be consistent and you need to be sharing something that is what we talked about under the be heard category, what your customers and clients want to hear about, not what you want to talk about, what they want to hear about. But like, it doesn't have to be long or lengthy or it doesn't have to be complex. Don't overcomplicate it, right? So if you take anything out of the be seen, it's just pick a place and start being consistent with it and don't overthink it and work on your mindset with it and start changing your perspective around it and just keep showing up, right? I think, you know, there are a million coaches that say this. We're going to say it because it's true, but like pick a strategy and stick with that strategy for at least 60 days. Actually, not, I say 120, right? 4 months, like stick with it. If you're going to do a weekly newsletter before you write it off, do a weekly newsletter for 4 months, right? And not just like without growing your list. Part of running a newsletter is growing your list. That's part of the strategy, right? If you're going to be a speaker, don't just go, oh, I spoke at a Rotary Club and it was just a bunch of 80-year-old men who didn't care about my pretty purses, right? Like, no, like keep speaking places and do it, right, frequently. So show up and be consistent, right? So where you're seen, yeah, it matters. And we go into that in the Take Bold Action program. And we go into that when I private coach people, and we go into that, you know, in a variety of different ways. And I can go into that with you one-on-one. That's very specific based on the other 2 categories, what you want to be known for and what you want to be heard for. But what isn't specific, what is kind of general, is wherever you decide to show up to be seen, be consistent with it and don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Like, look, I am in this t-shirt. I am like in my kitchen. I do not have a diva light. I do not have all this great equipment, and I didn't even have a script, right? But I knew that this message needed to be talked about. I knew that this message needed to be heard. I knew that my prospective clients and my current clients, and I know this, they're struggling with visibility, wanting to be seen and being terrified to do it, wanting to be seen and not knowing what to say, wanting to be seen and sabotaging themselves, wanting to be seen and whatever. So it was important for me to share my message. That's all you have to do. Share the message, but share it in a way that speaks to what my audience is wanting to hear about, right? Which is, here, what am I ultimately doing by teaching you how to be more visible, right? Ultimately, I'm helping you take action. Ultimately, I'm helping you build relationships. Ultimately, we're building a successful business. But a lot of you aren't there yet. You don't really care about taking all of this grand action and, you know, building this huge successful business. You just want to do a freaking Facebook Live video without fainting, right? Like, that's what you want to do, right? So that's what I need to speak to. And so that's how right? That's how you can approach visibility, so that you can, I say be seen, be heard, be known, but it's really be known, right? That's ultimately what you want, by being heard, which is not the same thing as we talked about. So if you just hopped on, go back on the top part, and you do that by being seen, right? And where all of that, that's a matter of strategy and individual, but what isn't is just be consistent with it. Pick something, just start, take action, be consistent, give it time, right? And then tweak, time and tweak, time and tweak. Just because you're doing Facebook Lives and you're not getting results doesn't mean Facebook Lives don't work. It could be how you're structuring it. It could be what you're saying in it, right? That's where coaches, mentors, programs like Take Bold Action can really help, right? So anyway, right, let's go back and just end real quick with the mindset piece. But none of that, none of the actions I talked about will matter if your mindset isn't in alignment. So if you missed the beginning of this video, please, 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 I give you different ideas and perspectives on how to have new perspectives around some of these things that are really holding people up. And I talk about how to overcome fear, failure, rejection, and other people's opinions. And it's really by taking action. So in the Take Bold Action program, that is what we're doing. You will be emailing places to speak. You will be going out to speak. You will be doing Facebook Live videos. You will be finding a vendor table. You will be setting up a vendor table, even if you don't go to a vendor event, right? You will be doing your own kind of webinar. You will be writing your content. You will come up with a content strategy. You will be creating a newsletter. You will be building a list. You will actually be doing these things, right? So anyway, that is what I wanted to talk about today. So again, some people just skip to the end. What are the birthday presents, Rita? I know these Facebook Lives are part of your birthday celebration extravaganza for the week. So what are the prizes? Number one, I am reopening my video on how to differentiate yourself in a noisy marketplace, along with my buyer cycle infographic, which talks about what your content should be doing, what your motivation is at different stages of the buyer cycle, which becomes really important for the be heard section of what we talked about today, what you should be talking about, what people should be hearing you say. So I'm opening that for free, and I'll be posting in the comments how everybody can access that. And then, and it comes with a workbook, I think, so I have to look. But yeah, I mean, you guys will have access to all of that. That's my birthday present. And number two, if you register for the Take Bold Action program by tonight using the code BIRTHDAY, then you get 10% off. You get to participate in September's round of Wake Up and Win for free, and you get a 30-minute private coaching session with me for free, which is in addition to the 30-minute onboarding session that you get in the program. So you actually will end up with an hour coaching, and you get all of that, right? Instead of $497 or 3 payments of $197, you'll get it for $457 or 3 payments of $177. So those are my 2 different birthday things today. So I'll post all the links to all the things in the comments. If you guys have questions, now's the time to ask. How do you feel about this now? What are you going to work on? This is what I want to know as well. Like, tell me in the comments, whether you're watching on replay or you're watching now, out of this, out of the mindset piece, out of overcoming fears, out of talking about being known, about being heard, and about being seen, what are you going to work on? What's a takeaway? What's an action for you that you're going to do in like the next 24 hours? I would love to hear that. Could somebody share that with me? Like, what's something that you're going to do to step into this more? Anybody want to share? I see Mina logged on at some point. Hi, Mina. Sorry, I missed you logging in, or I would have said hi. Anybody want to share it all? Like, what is something, like, so we talked about being known. We talked about what you want to be known for, identifying those like 2 to 3 categories. What you want to be heard on, which is not the same as being known for. That's speaking to your customers and your clients where they're at right now with the pain points that are right in front of them about the things that they want to hear about based on the buyer cycle, right? And in a way that is about you using your story and your uniqueness, right, to do that. And then being seen, picking a strategy and just being consistent with it and getting out there and then, you know, trying it and tweaking it and trying it and tweaking it. Or maybe, you know, going to a program like Take Bold Action or working with a coach or something to create a little strategy around that. But like out of all of it, and the mindset piece, right? Out of all of that, what are you going to work on? So Deborah Meyer says, I need to work on what I want to be known for. So that's a good one, right? Because otherwise, it's kind of like you're starting without that how will you measure the success of being seen and being heard if you don't know what you want to be known for? How will you know that that visibility is creating that ultimate result of what you want to be known for if you don't know what you want to be known for, right? So that's good. I like that. And Diana says the idea that you start with the end in mind and you create content from there, and then you just start small, right, and grow from there. And it's so, so true. I don't know why it won't let me see your comment all the way, Diana. I don't know. I can only look at it on Facebook, so on my phone. Oh, there we go. And grow from there because you gain confidence along the way, right? Yeah, just start, right? Because again, every time you're choosing not to be visible, if sharing your message, if impacting people, if changing lives through what you do, what you sell, what you offer, if that's important to you, if that's part of who you are as your ideal version of yourself, if that's part of your ideal life kind of vision, if that's a core value for you to have an impact, to help people, to serve people, right? If that is true and you're not doing it, every time you choose not to do it, you are lowering your self-esteem. Every single time you're lowering your self-esteem, which makes the fears grow. It makes you more likely that you're not going to do it. The only way to break that cycle, guys, I hate to break it to you, the only way to break that cycle is take action, right? And that's why I finally created this program, and why thank you to everybody who's watching who was part of the first round of Take Bold Action. And I'm so glad that most of you are coming back. You've really helped me refine the program, and it is going to be a lot of implementation and learning through action with a little bit of content. So if you are ready to do that, if you're ready to take action, if you're like, I'm sick of not being visible, I'm sick of not doing it, letting these fears, letting these holdups stop me from sharing my message, from getting on the phone and having sales calls, from going out and networking, from speaking, from all of the places and all of the ways we do, having a podcast, whatever it is, right? And this is probably a program you're going to want to check out. So anyway, that's all, guys. Happy birthday, right? I'll be back tomorrow with even more gifts, even more value, even more topics, you know, around things. If there's something that you want me to talk about, please put it in the comments below. I would love to be able to just give all week for the rest of the week. And if you have any questions about anything, let me know. Otherwise, have a great day, guys. I'll be reading the comments in the replays too. So make sure, even if you're watching on replay, that you ask your questions, okay? And check the comments for the link to the infographic and for information on how you can get to the video and the workbook, and also the information about the program, okay? All right, guys, take care. Have a good one. Bye, everyone.